Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to add a decorative edge to brick stitch earrings using 15-0 seed beads. Now today, I've done some brick stitch around a form, and that is those beautiful little green beads that we have there. And for a little added embellishment, what I wanted to do is I wanted to add a little edge. Now you can see those pink beads there. It almost looks like an extra row of brick stitch before we have those little beads that are sticking up, but this is actually all done as an edging technique, and this is a picot edge. So I'm going to show you how to do this in this video here. And again, because they're so nice and tiny, they're little 15-0 Miyuki seed beads, they're going to look really lovely on our hoop. So I'm using two different colors. You can also use the same color for a different look. But today, like I said, I'm going to be using the 15-0 Miyukis, and those green beads are 11-0s. So I've done my entire row of brick stitch here. And I am going to be using the crystal FireLine because it really sort of disappears along that silver, but hopefully you'll be able to see it in my hands. So once you've gotten as far as you wanted to, and you can see that I didn't do the full hoop because this is going to be on the back, so I left a little back there so we have a nice little sort of front style. But again, feel free to choose what you like. So I'm coming out of my last little bead that I've added there of my 11-0 beads. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up 3 of our 15-0 seed beads. And we're going to slide that all the way down to the bottom here. And it's going to sit right on top like that. Now, if you're looking above, you'll see that we have these little thread bridges. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this kind of like a little brick stitch. So we're going to go down through and catch that thread bridge right underneath there and go ahead and put your needle all the way through and pull, pull, pull. And then you'll see that those 3 beads kind of want to sit on top there, and we're going to help them by going up through only that last little seed bead that we strung. So now we're going to go up through that seed bead. And what we want to happen now, and this is where you can kind of take your thumb, take your nail and just kind of make sure that they all sit nice and snug right on top there. So I'm going to hold it with my finger and just kind of give it a little extra tug because I want that to be nice and secure. So now that I have 3, and you can also kind of help that little top bead there because we want them to stick straight up. So now that we have our 3, what we're going to do now is we're going to pick up 2 of our 15-0 seed beads. So now we have 2 on our needle, and we're going to go underneath that next thread bridge, and we're just going to repeat that process by pulling all the way through and then going up through only the last bead that we added. So pull that all the way through there. And again, you can see that I kind of do this a little delicately because I don't want to be pulling out any of those thread bridges or those stitches. So I just want to kind of help it along there. And we can just sort of bring that up. So you can see that we're adding what is in essence a little row of brick stitch, but we're adding that extra bead in there as we go. So we're picking up 2 beads, going underneath the next thread bridge. Now, sometimes when we do circular brick stitch, you'll notice that we'll utilize the same thread bridge more than once, and sometimes we'll skip over. So for this one, what I want you to do is only use each of those thread bridges only once. So I have 57 of my green beads here. So I'm going to be adding just 1 in between each of those thread bridges. So you'll notice that you'll start to have that little edging there. All right, so I'm going to do 1 more. And this is also something that you can add in at any point of your brick stitch. So let's say you wanted to add this embellishment to, a center portion of it or something, so you don't have to go all the way around. But that's a little bit more of an advanced technique. So today we're just kind of keeping it basic and just adding that little embellishment with these 15-0 seed beads. Now you can see that every time I do a stitch, I kind of, take it out, test my tension, really just give it a little extra tug. And I also like to kind of take my needle and just make sure that everybody is kind of sitting up at full attention there. All right, and I think that helps as you go through to kind of fix as you go. Sometimes we can kind of go back and adjust. But in essence, that's the basic stitch. So we're going to go all the way around, and then I do want to show you how to tie it off on the other side. So go ahead and finish your picot edge, going 1 for each of those thread bridges all the way around the earring. And when we get to the other side, I'll show you how to tie it off. All right, so I am completing my last one here. So I'm just adding on 2 more beads and going up through that last one there. Just let me scooch my tail out of the way. Kind of hold it with my fingers there. And again, just coming in, just kind of making sure everybody is in their right place. Perfect. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm actually going to go up and over through this top bead that I have here, that last sort of little up bead. And I'm just holding it because I want to make sure it stays nice and secure. There we go. Just around through. And then I'm going to go down through that next bead. So I'm kind of retracing my steps in a little way. Go down through that little pink bead. And now I'm going to go down through that second green bead in that very first row. And this is where it's a little tight now, so just kind of wiggle your needle around because we want to try to get it down there so that we can tie it off at the bottom. All right, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to sneak back right behind there and catch that little thread bridge. You see how my needle sort of caught back there? I'm going to catch that little thread bridge, pull my needle through, and it's going to form this little loop here. And I want to take my needle and I want to go through that loop, through this loop here, and pull this out to the side. And keeping my tail out of the way over there. And I just want to pull, 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 and create that nice little knot right there. Okay. And now what I like to do is I'm going to use a thread zap. So I'm going to snap off both of these. And this is our little thread zap here. So you can just remove the guard. And when you press it up, you'll see the tip there. It gets nice and hot. So please be careful. So what I like to do is just sort of hold it out to the side, make sure that I'm only zapping off the thread that I need, and let that heat up. And then just zap that off so I can take that aside. And I'm just kind of going to flip it over. I'm going to come in, I'm going to zap that off. And this works really well with the FireLine because what it does is it sort of seals that in so we don't have any issues with our thread pulling back through. All right, now you see how I had a little wonky bead there. So now I can just kind of go back through and just sort of pop everybody up and just fix anybody who may have fallen down along the way. But it's a really simple technique that really adds a lovely embellishment. So again, really pick some fun colors to play with here. I've been using the 11-0 Miyukis and the 15-0 Miyukis to make that edge. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get all of these supplies and see even more tutorial videos by heading over to Beadaholique.com. And if you're new to our YouTube channel here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below to get all the latest from Beadaholique.